Good evening and welcome back to OpenLine. We are talking about the MLS, the lawsuit, Save Our Fairgrounds. Just with me right now, the president and the attorney, Jim Roberts. Let's get back to the lines. I know people have been calling. I believe we have Wayne. Hey, Wayne, thank you for calling. What's your question?
Yeah, good evening. Thanks for the time. Yeah, the one thing I don't understand, look at all the football stadiums you have in Nashville today. And soccer is a summer sport. So why in the world can't you do like we did when we brought the Houston Oilers in? We use other people's stadiums. And of course, the soccer clubs, they're not professional soccer teams. Soccer has a long way to go before it becomes another professional sport. And the mystery of the fairgrounds, for the last 20 years, people see it as a vacant piece of property, but it's actually a part of Nashville's history. Why can't people develop that land in a way where it can never be touched and it'll be left as history? And that's all I have to say.
Wayne, thank you for that.
Thanks, Wayne.
We kind of talked about it just before the break, but the idea of...
I mean, we have a stadium that was built to house Major League Soccer. When they built the Titan Stadium, they said, you know, one of the things they sold us on it, one of the things that the selling points was, if we get soccer, we can play professional soccer here. Great. I mean, you know, we have a functioning stadium. Let's put MLS there. If they perform well, if the attendance is high, if they show us that they are good for Nashville, then we'll sit back and think about building a $250 million stadium. But I don't think we should build the stadium first and then go see if it's going to work out, because what if it sits empty? We've lost a treasure, and we have an empty stadium. And plenty of cities have empty stadiums.
Soccer,
we don't want to be one of them.
Soccer is popular, but do you think it's not popular enough in Nashville, at least?
I think it's very popular in Nashville. I think this is the right city for soccer. It's the wrong location. That's the problem. There was no study to determine where the best location was for soccer would be. Rich Reebling determined that, and Megan Barry said that's where we're going to build it.
Wayne also mentioned the idea of what else can you develop on the fairgrounds to make it seem like,
well,
you know, it's
interesting that, you know, he's pointed out in 20 years people said it's a vacant piece of property. Well, that property brought in 1.6 million visitors last year. The Titan Stadium would have to sell out 27 events to bring in that many people to Nashville. They have 8 games. This many. A country boy can figure that out. They got to go a lot more to get to the 27 games. The proposed stadium at the fairgrounds would have to sell out 53 games or events in order to bring in as many people as the fairgrounds brought in last year. There were 700 events held on that property last year. It's a place where the common man in Nashville can go have an event there. There's fish fries for nonprofits, all sorts of things. There's lots of options out there. The racetrack, there was automobile racing on the fairgrounds property before there was a subway train running in New York City.
Wow. That shows history right there.
There's a lot going on there. The challenge is it's not dealt with, and they keep saying it's underutilized, but nobody says Titan Stadium's underutilized.
Do you think it's just there's so many people moving to Nashville that they may not know the history of the fairgrounds or know what's out there?
Well, if they drive by the road from Knowles Road up through the fairgrounds property and they see the parking area, they mean, well, there's nothing going on here. But there may be 3 events on top of the hill taking place. I've been there. There's a train show, an exotic animal show, a bead show. There's been knife shows, up until recently gun shows, and there may be multiple events taking place on the property at the same time. That's where we take our animals when they've rescued animals that were in abusive situations, horses, cows, dogs. They brought them there because they have a place to put them. It's been the rescue of a lot of animals and homeless. When we have nights that are freezing, they bring the homeless over there, give them a place to stay. Right. That property's used a lot. It's just the average person driving by Knowlesville Road may not see it's being used.
And don't confuse underutilization with the fact that it's used as a parking lot. I mean, this isn't wild savannas. There's large areas of parking. This is one of the only venues in Nashville that has a large quantity of on-site parking. If you want to go to the fairgrounds, you go and park at the fairgrounds. You want to go to the Christmas Village, you go, and for the most part, you park at the fairground. If you want to go to the new Greer Stadium, the Nashville Stadium, you don't most likely are parking all over the neighborhood.
There's virtually no parking
or the
on
Titans.
property.
You're parking downtown and walking across the bridge. So it's not underutilized, it's utilized for parking so that those people don't park in the neighborhoods. One of the problems that the MLS Stadium has is they think their attendance is going to be 33,000
33 and
roughly.
a half.
How many cars is that? Well, there are only 4,500 parking spaces. And so there better be a lot of people in those 4,500 cars, or they're all parking in the neighborhoods. And that neighborhood is not designed for overflow parking, whereas the downtown area is.
Right. All right, I know we have some more callers. Yep. I believe we have Brian. Hey, Brian, thank you for calling. What's your question?
Yeah, I just, it's such a quaint neighborhood. I live by the airport in Berry Hill and stuff. I used to drive down right by that road, and when you drive up the road, I mean, you don't drive up it, you go up there and you walk and stuff, and you go up to the fairgrounds, and you go to the, you know, the state fair, which is happening tonight, or do you want to buy stuff or go? I'm not a big one for the racing car stuff, but I think we should really keep it the way it was. I really can't see it like a big major league. I don't care what it is, baseball, football, soccer, sitting up on top of that hill. To me, and I'm an old school Nashville boy from Berry Hill, you know, by the airport and stuff, my dad. And now I live, you know, way out in the country here of Davis County. I just can't see them doing that to that. That's just odd to me. Yeah. I'm sorry. I just don't like it.
Brian, you're not the only one. Thank you for that. It seems like that's what it is. It's really it's trying to hold on to a piece of old Nashville, as some would describe it.
It's foundational to our city. It's been part of our city for over a century. And this is my concern from the start. This was my concern about Fort Negley. This is my concern about some of the buildings on Music Road. This is my concern about Printers Alley and some of the other historical locations across our city. Our history is what's made us what we are. And Nashville has been an awesome city. I've been blessed to travel all over the world. People from Nashville, oh, I want to go to Nashville. That's their dream. This was 30 years ago.
Wow.
It's been an awesome city for a long, long time. And if we destroy the foundation, those that would destroy it probably don't care for our future, because you can't destroy the foundation of a structure without destroying the structure itself, ultimately.
All right, let's go now to, I believe we have Nicholas. Hey, Nicholas, what's going on?
Hey, how you doing tonight?
Good, thank you for calling. What's your comment or question?
My question is regarding this particular club. Was Nissan Stadium ever considered the site for the MLS team?
They, according to discussions that I participated in, they intended to play until the new stadium was built at Nissan Stadium, or as they're doing right now with the team that they have right now with Nashville Soccer Club at the Sounds Ballpark. And so I do know that the Sound Stadium was in fact built to professional soccer standards, and so that's possible, but it doesn't fit the PR image of major MLS to have 30,000 fans in a 60,000 plus seat stadium. It doesn't look like it's full, and so it doesn't look good public image wise, and so that's why we're talking about spending $250 million to build
275 million. Yeah,
that's actually a little bit more than $250 million, but 250 million would be $250 million, and so they're looking to spend more than that for the stadium, so it looks good for MLS. But at what expense?
You're talking about the image that they want.
Yeah, it's the image, and like I say, it's not about whether we have soccer or not. It's about whether we have soccer at the fairgrounds, or we have the uses for which that land was given and transferred to the city of Nashville in 1911. I actually read the long handwriting deed when that took place, or destroy it for those purposes. That's what it's been used for over 100 years.
Yeah, Duane, thank you for that, and thank you for the calls, but we do have some more. We'll try to get to your calls when we come back after the break.